Hey, what's up, guys? So I am going to be sharing what I learned in the first session at North America's largest marketing conference called Traffic and Conversion Summit 2019. I'm here. I wish I could switch between video and screen sharing, but I'm not able to. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. If not, that'd be really embarrassing. I'm here in San Diego, and I just finished up some work, and I want to share some things that I learned. Hopefully that's going to be helpful for you. So the first session was by a guy by the name of Ryan Deiss. Ryan Deiss is the owner of a company called Digital Marketer, which hosted and put on this event. And that company does about 40 or $50 million a year. So pretty smart guy. He has a ton of other businesses, so he's probably responsible for over like $250 million in sales per year. But anyway, so in his first session, he was talking about the 5 phases of technology and how they go from innovation or discovery of a new idea to proliferation, as in it grows, to standardization, which means things kind of standardize or get in a certain way of doing. He gave an example of the car and how first there was Benz, I don't remember what his first name was, and then Henry Ford perfected the assembly line, and then shortly after that there was like hundreds, if I believe actually even thousands of automakers, and that was in the proliferation stage. But then standardization happened, and then the way that cars were made kind of happened. But anyway, the next stage is consolidation, which is that basically companies purchase each other. Some of them live, some of them die, and now there's like 8 or 13 major automakers in the world, or at least in the United States. And then following that, what happens is innovation or disruption. Something changes, something happens. So you can take the cab industry, for example, and Uber coming around, or hotels and Airbnb. Those are just examples of people are they're relatable. So he's talking about how marketing is getting to this point of consolidation and getting ready to be disrupted, and we need to innovate. And so he gave the example of Amazon just about having 50% of all online e-commerce in the United States, which is ridiculously huge. Facebook ad spend is constantly going up. This is the organic Facebook reach of a page. In constant decline. Basically, you don't reach anybody organically anymore. Now, that's not entirely true if you produce really good content. Some of you know an agency owner that I know, Lane Anderson. They do really great content marketing, and his posts reach tons of people, but you need to be really, really good at it. But organically, and the average has been steadily declining. Another thing he shared that was really cool is that in 2019 is going to be the first year that digital advertising spending actually exceeds traditional advertising spending. So finally, the world is catching on to this whole digital thing. So how he talks about how we can avoid being disrupted and avoid kind of being screwed by all these crazy changes that are happening. Instead of fast, we need to go slow. Instead of big, we need to think small. And that which is small, we need to think big. So he talks about, instead of thinking in terms of funnels, thinking in terms of journeys. Instead of automation, think about having conversations. And instead of thinking what can scale, do the unscalable, which kind of seems counterintuitive. This is a really cool graphic, and was one of his very first projects by Ryan Deiss. It was called the Napkin Project. And he just shared a story. He shares a story about how he originally did this. And I'm actually going to check in on who's actually paying attention. Doesn't look like too many people, but I'm just going to keep going. So, alrighty. So he was in a really poor place in his business, and he was just sitting in a bar, and he just all of a sudden came up with this idea of this funnel. Basically, this is like the first funnel, having a lead magnet. If they don't take it, retarget them. If they do, go to a tripwire or a really low dollar offer, or barrier to entry, such as a consultation or estimate, or a webinar or a meeting for coffee or whatever. If they don't take that, have a way for them to get back. And we have your core offer, and then profit maximizers, your really high profit stuff, then having people in long-term nurture. So kind of like that's like the basic funnel, and that was something cool that he shared. So this is kind of how they do it now. This is a cool graphic. If you go to digitalmarketer.com, you can find this customer value optimization. I believe it's like on their blog. He said funnels aren't bad, they're simply incomplete. So he's going to talk about journeys, and very first, but just especially what happened after the sale. And so this is kind of their new, instead of the funnel, this is the journey: awareness, engagement, subscribe. So engage is, they're having a conversation with you, they reach out, or back and forth in Facebook Messenger, or texting, or call in. Subscribe, you actually get their information. Convert, they make their first sale. Excite, you actually make them successful on their first sale and they love it. Ascend, sell them more stuff. Advocate, they tell the friends, or they give a testimonial. And then promote, they're actively telling their friends. And so this is kind of some details on that. Feel free to pause the video and check that out. He talks about building referral engines and kind of putting gas on the fire in terms of your clients that are referring. Invite them to, give them tools to do so, reduce the friction in them referring to you. So, and then what else? So here's just an example of getting them to engage. Once again, I'll go back to this engage step. So a way to do that is Facebook Messenger. Facebook obviously is a huge platform. Everybody's on it. ManyChat is a really cool tool that I have signed up for free, and I'm going to be checking out more of. There's tons of experts on it out there, and I may become proficient in that. But basically, it's a way that you can have automated responses and even kind of automated conversations, but then also actually participate in that conversation. And once they are asking different kind of questions, it's getting them to engage. So really, really cool. He talks about a different strategy, kind of going reverse and going backwards on the market, is sending emails without links. Instead of always linking to something, just getting them to reply to the email. Something that's really cool about that I actually learned from them is that increases your email deliverability. If you don't know what email deliverability is, when you're using a CRM or email autoresponder like MailChimp or like the Keep, which is the software that I use, some emails go through, some don't. Some go into their inbox, some go into promotions, some go into spam. If you send stuff like this and they reply to it, it's going to make it more likely that it goes to their inbox, they're going to see it, and you're going to make more money. So he's talking about how the future belongs to companies that are willing to invest in real-time one-to-one interactions. Actually invest in that. Do things you can't track. Let's see here. Doing Facebook groups. This is something that Lane Anderson of London Road Media is doing really, really well. Super solid. Sharing unrelated content. So it's kind of funny. Ryan shares about how, anyway, basically this isn't really related to one of their products, but they shared the content and people loved it. Answer stupid questions. So apparently you guys might know this guy, Jason Limkin. I didn't, still don't really, but he's like a huge deal. He has like $1 billion company now or something like that. But he went into forums on Quora or questions, whatever it is, and answered people's questions on SaaS products. SaaS, if you don't know what that means, it stands for software as a service, basically just softwares. And he answered stupid questions, he answered people questions, and built a huge community. So, and then he talked about reading this book, This Won't Scale. So that was pretty much the first section. Doing things that are unscalable, kind of flipping, not always being conversion based, but just doing things more personal, being more authentic, and helping people on that will build a brand, it'll build great relationships, and people will refer to you. So that's one of the things that I learned in the first session, and also other sessions had a similar theme. So super awesome. If you'd like this video and you enjoyed it, please like it, comment below. What do you think? Do you agree? Don't you agree? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any questions about what I shared? And by the way, if you're interested in this kind of thing, marketing, all that kind of stuff, I am holding an event on Wednesday, March 13th at noon in London Road Media's office. I'll link to that event in the comments. It's a free event. I'm just sharing about CRM and how that can benefit service businesses in particular to get organized and grow their business. So hopefully this has been valuable for you guys. I intend on, let me know. Would you like me to share more about what I learned at this event? It was 3 days. They had over 100 sessions, and I attended about 15 of them. But if this was interesting to you, please let me know, and comment below. Would you like me to share more stuff like this? So thanks, guys. You're freaking awesome, and I'll talk to you again soon.